Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Well, the suffering ends today. Hello everyone, welcome to the show. My name is the Fisherman, and today we will be looking at the Re-Reconquista achievement in the current patch 1.28. The idea of this video is to create a solid basis to work from. Granada is one of my favorite nations to play, and in the past it used to be a real drag, but now things have actually spiced up and become more entertaining and definitely more fun to do. So well, you know, there will be no crazy floor level tactics or Roomba-esque mathematical nose dives in efficiency, but another reason, which is also one of the reasons I wanted to make this video, is that I want to show that you can still have a really good game and achieve what you want to achieve, even though the RNG doesn't go your way per se. Or it isn't the perfect run. In my opinion, most videos give the impression that all EU4 players get these perfect runs all the time, and that either you are bad or simply need to restart the run until you do get the best circumstances possible. So without further ado, let's get into the game. As you might have seen from the footage, right off the bat you arrive at Portugal Tlemcen. These are your only options. You put your merchant on transfer trade in Safi, collect in Seville, and send your ships out to protect your trade in Seville. One of the first important elements is that you secure an alliance with Morocco, and preferably Tunis as well. Morocco will most likely accept, Tunis could differ. A second important part which you can see here is that we send a scornful insult to Castile, because one of the missions that I believe is called Prepare for War, that Granada has, gives you a 60 tradition general if you send a normal insult, and but however you will get a 100 tradition general if you send a scornful insult to Castile. And since you need positive prestige in order to send a scornful insult or an insult at all, you will need, this is why we do it beforehand, because now we'll start the interaction with the estates in order to get more monarch points and a general and whatever, and this will lower your prestige to a negative. So we do our interactions with the estates. Preferably we get their influence up to around 80, so that you will at least get 100, and preferably at 80 plus you will get a 150 monarch points. So we take them from the emirs and from the ulema, and we take a general as well, because we will need it for our first war. Our ruler is terribly bad, so you know, just gonna have to make do, and we make him a ruler as well. Or sorry, a general. We make him a general, and now we will start fabricating. Actually, the first part is establishing a base, or sort of, you know, a backup plan, and sort of trying to stabilize our economy, preparing for war. So we are going to expand to North Africa, and basically the only option we have is going to Tlemcen. And how we're going to do it? Well, simply we're going to fabricate a claim on him, ask military access from Morocco, and then prepare. Build up to force limit. This is also quite important to get the mission trees started. One of them is, I believe, also for the first one you need to be at 100% force limit, so we can easily tick that off. At the meantime, you can see we're going to improve our relations with the Ottomans as well. This is definitely an important alliance to get as early on as possible, because they will deter Castile and Aragon from attacking you, and they will definitely be a useful ally later on. So now we're basically just transporting the troops. We asked access from Morocco, and then we're going to wait until, like, I don't know, 12, 13 spy network. Then we ramp up the military budget spending again, so we're back in full morale when we fabricate the claim on Mers el Kabir, and then we will attack Tlemcen, take Morocco with us in the war, and then we'll just expand from there. In the meantime, just, you know, change our status with Castile and Aragon, or to perhaps trigger some of the alliances and favor the Ottomans and the French perhaps for a later alliance. which we likely won't get at that moment anyway. This video is pretty long. I played for like 2 hours, and we're going to condense some of it. And I've condensed it to like 22 minutes. This is, this is also an experiment for me. It's still a learning curve. But either way, as you can see, we have fabricated the claim, and now we're speeding up the video, and we're going to war. We have marked all of Tlemcen's land as important, except for Fakewik, because we're going to give that to Morocco in order to sort of keep them happy and pay them off for their help in the war and such. Because we will definitely need their alliance against Castile. So, just regular stuff. Conquer everything as fast as you can, otherwise Morocco might take it, or Tunis. They will likely declare a separate war. Another interesting thing at least I did here, and I can well, it would be definitely be beneficial if it's possible to take it. Try taking some of the Berber states, such as Mazab and Touggourt, as well, during this war or a separate war, because it allows you to, basically right off the bat create 2 vassals, because you will create 1 Berber vassal and another one by releasing Algiers from the conquered land in Tlemcen. And then we will keep some part of it for ourselves to ramp up the economy a bit. And then those 2 vassals, I like vassals, they're good, they're really good in this patch. So I just prefer to play with them anyway. Later on, I think there will be the next video. I will also release Lyon once we establish Al-Andalus. So at this point it is also important to keep in mind that between 1450 and 1530 the Iberian wedding event can fire, which binds the dynasties of Castile and Aragon, as you might probably know, and yeah, that basically changes the game. And it basically ends your run in such a way, because together they're definitely way too powerful for you to fight alone. And the Ottomans are they will likely help you, but still you won't be able to hold out long enough for them to actually arrive and make a difference. As you can see, so either way, keep in mind, we want to keep them separate, break them up, and we want to avoid that to happen. As you can see, by the way, we've ended the war with Tlemcen. We gave Mazab to Touggourt, and we released Algiers and kept the rest for ourselves. So now we have 2 vassals, which is really an improvement from our starting position. But either way, by now by now things should start to happen, which will allow you to continue the process of forcing your way into Iberia. Preferably, Castile or Aragon or Portugal to war with each other or with somebody else, so you can actually jump them and take the provinces you need in order to be able to form Al-Andalus, the southern provinces. But nothing was really happening, and it was really problematic. The run definitely, it looked pretty sour. I mean, it started to derail a bit because nothing happened. So I was forced to make a decision, and because if I had done nothing, then the run would be over. The game would be over. So I decided to go to war with Aragon. They were allied with Genoa and Venice as well. The Ottomans actually supported me. That was really nice. That was definitely a great help. The Ottomans managed to knock out Genoa and Venice, but then unfortunately the Ottomans pieced out themselves. So then I was left with fighting Aragon, and to make matters worse, because the Iberian wedding event did fire, and Castile and Aragon were allied, and I had to fight them both. And I believe Portugal joined the fray as well. So I was in a horrible position, and my only hope was to sort of get a white peace. Fortunately, Morocco jumped into the fray as well, and that actually saved me. I managed to make some gains, and that allowed me to get the white piece I wanted, but though I was pretty much in shambles and the run still looked over. Either way, I'm going to speed up the footage. I think it was a half-hour gameplay, and then that's boring to watch anyway. So I'm going to speed it up, put some tunes on it, and then I'll see you guys at the end of the segment, and we'll talk over it, see what sort of talk towards the end, and then see what comes next. Alright, boys, we back. So, as you can see, I had to white piece out. The war was pretty weird. For some reason, Castile ended up being allied with Tunis as well, so I had to fight them, and it was, in general, it was a complete mess. It was it wasn't pretty, and it was also pretty unfortunate. I was quite displeased with the whole situation. As you can see, I had to fight some rebels, and that sucked, but most importantly, I actually managed to preserve a decent army from the war in general, and even more importantly, I managed to pick up military tech 6, which is like huge. It's definitely one of the most powerful upgrades you can get in the early game, which you should definitely be striving for anyway. So I also noticed that Morocco was still fighting Portugal, so I decided, well, what the hell, why the hell not? Portugal was undefended by his allies, and that left the window wide open. So I jumped him, and I was hoping to get a bit more than I actually got, but I still managed to isolate him. I managed to get the Algarve, which is a great beachhead for further expansion. Broke his alliances, blah blah, and managed to get some money, I believe. So that was pretty good, that was pretty decent. And by that point I also noticed that Castile was undefended, and he even ended up in a war with Aragon. So as you can see, if you manage to weaken them early on, you will prevent the Iberian wedding from happening, you will destabilize the region. As you can see, Castile is crawling with rebels, so that's what you actually want, because if they're too busy fighting each other or fighting internal struggles, you can basically jump on them and expand yourself, and then once you get that snowball rolling, it doesn't really slow down anymore. As you can see, I also took my first idea group, which is defensive ideas. Yeah, what can I say? I like it. I prefer it over offensive ideas, especially when you're playing Granada. It's also a matter of style and preference, I guess. Different nations, different situations require to do different things, but in general I take a military idea first, and then, since I like playing vassals, likely influence second, or perhaps expansion, exploration if you were going for the colony game. I had to wait before Aragon pieced out of this war. He was also fighting Castile, so that I could re-siege some of the provinces, and especially Toledo, which I needed to make a higher demand for the peace deal. But returning to the aspects of military points and whatnot, I actually prefer to focus military points, especially since our ruler is so weak, and then you need the admin points for the coring and maintaining your stability and whatever. But diplo points aren't that important yet in the early game. So you can definitely use that to ramp up your, to develop your provinces, and you shouldn't be afraid to do that. I mean, especially the salt in Granada, or once you later on get some of the gold mines, you should definitely improve those. Don't be afraid to spend some. Of course, take the reduced development cost modifiers if you can. But that's great, you know, you'll get an increase in technology spread, or institution spread, I mean, and general income as well. So those are definitely important to have. That's sort of my philosophy on it, and I think most people will agree on this. As you can see, I managed to get the entire, well, upper Granada part of Spain, the south, including Sevilla, which is great. Sevilla is a great trade node, and later on, in combination with Lisboa, you're good to go. You're basically the biggest trade power in the Sevilla node. Another important thing to keep in mind is that if you're Sunni religion, which we are as Granada, you have this incredible powerful mechanic, which is the slider in your religion tab. You know, the slider with the one end piety and the other end legalism. I always try to max out legalism because I like the tech reduction cost, which is always good to have. But also it allows you to get a free loan in the form of having debasing your currency. So first you do that, you gain 2 corruption, but clicking the legalism button allows you to lose 2 corruption, so that, you know, that evens out to 0. So just a small little thing you can do to, you know, get some money if you're short on cash. Anyway, that's, well, we're heading into the roundup for this video. It was a fun experience to make and to do, and in the second one we will be going into the actual re-foundation, second foundation, great foundation of Al-Andalus. So I'll see you on that one. Remember kids, Granada is the land of opportunity. My name is the Fisherman, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.